My name is Nola Ramjan Karim, and I am the president of the Parent Teachers Association of Princeton Presbyterian No. 1 School. It has become necessary for us to do this video to explain the situation that we are in at Princeton Presbyterian No. 1 School. There are a lot of misconceptions out there and a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of, should I say, lack of knowledge, that people don't know really what the situation is and how we have come to this point. We have been hearing all sorts of stories outside, and people are saying a lot of things that they don't know about. So this video really is to enlighten others as to our plight and how we came to this point. Okay? In 2015, when our school was deemed unfit and we had to evacuate, the school was already about 60 years old, and those were one of the old school buildings with wooden floors and Celotex ceilings and that kind of thing. Okay, a lot of structural damage was done to the school, and it had a lot of ensuing problems, a lot of issues, negative issues with the school. Okay, and actually for years prior to 2015, it was through the parents together with the administration and so on who really kept the school afloat, right? Over the years, many times, recommendations were made to the board and to ministry and so on to do something about the school, but nothing ever happened, right? The call for a new school over maybe 10-20 years went unheeded, okay, until it came to the point where the school really became unfit, all right? In May of 2015, the second tier department had a lot of problems. They are on the ground floor, underneath them, the downstairs, right? Underground, which is under road level. And what happened is that there were some cracks in the walls that actually opened. You were seeing through the cracks, and pieces of concrete started to fall off. Okay? 2 weeks prior to that happening, actually, the second tier department met. I myself met with them, and the parents decided to do something to fix the second tier department, funded by themselves, of course. All right? But before that could have happened, those cracks opened up, on the downstairs wall, and so that became a major concern. Okay? All the necessary authorities were alerted about it, and from that point, what happened, I think about a week or so after, well, the children had to be removed from those classrooms, and that would have been the whole second tier department. All right? About a week after that, the then MP for the area, together with members of the board and the administration and the PTA and so on, we met to discuss what was happening. And it was there that it was decided that the structural engineer should do a visit of the school and give a report of their findings. Okay? So that was the recommendation. The Ministry of Works, they were called in, and the structural engineer was called in. He came, I think, on the 2nd of June. He came, and when the report came out, it was that the school was deemed unfit, and the recommendation was that all buildings should be demolished, right, and new structures to be built. Okay, and it was immediate evacuation. That is what they recommended. Okay. After that, again, well, of course, the ministry met at the time, the supervisors and so on met with, all the stakeholders, and they decided to remove the staff and students and relocate them to Princeton Presbyterian No. 2 School, which is on the Tasker Road. Okay? Some distance away from our original location at Edward Street. This was supposed to have been a short-term arrangement. Even though specific dates were not given, but it was always said it was a short-term arrangement until something permanent could be put in place. Okay? This happened in June. Students were evacuated. Everyone was evacuated and moved to Press 2, as we call it. All right? After that, now, what happened from September ongoing, the children were still going there, 2015. The board met with the stakeholders, or all other stakeholders, and the board wanted, that is the Presbyterian Primary Schools Board of Education, they wanted to repair the school, right, and not go on the recommendations of the Ministry of Works. Now, parents found that something was wrong with that. They were not accepting that because they were saying that, if they repair the school, if the school could have been repaired, why was the Ministry of Works saying to evacuate and demolish? Okay? So that was a bone of contention that went on for a couple months and so on and so on. Okay? Even though, from what we realized, members of the board were fully aware that once Ministry of Works, right, signed off on a building saying that it is unfit and that it has to be evacuated and demolished, that nothing else will be done. Ministry of Education will not repair. They will go with what Ministry of Works is saying. Okay? So the long and short of it, eventually, the board did agree because there was no other way out. All right? On the 9th of, this went on for almost a year. On the 9th of September 2016, right, another parent, Mr. Sukram, and myself met Minister Garcia in Parliament on the 9th of September and Minister Lovell Francis. Right, we met both of them, we spoke about the school situation and so on. Minister Garcia said to us that the board had to agree to demolish and to rebuild. And whenever the board agreed that they stand ready to do for us what was done for New Grant AC. By that time, New Grant AC was demolished and rebuilt in a matter of 2 weeks or so. Okay? I informed the minister, I said, the land where Press One was located at Edward Street, Princestown, is not the same type of land as at New Grant AC. The contours of the land and so on. And he said that's okay, they were aware of it. I informed him also that the population also was quite large at Press One, because at that time we had about 600 plus students, and he said yes, he's aware of that also. He said, so with those two conditions, what will happen? We will not get a school in 2 weeks at New Grant AC, but we will get a school in about 3 months, a prefab school, okay? And I assured him that parents would be okay with that we would not have a problem with that. All right? But of course, the Presbyterian Primary Schools Board of Education had to agree because the school actually belonged to them. The property is theirs. Okay? It belongs to the Presbyterian Church of Trinidad and Tobago. So that was September 9th, 2016. And I think a meeting was held on September 13th with the ministry and officials of the board as well. Okay? And they came to some agreement and what have you. On October the 3rd, the board, in writing, right, gave permission to the ministry, right, to demolish. That is this document here. They gave permission to the ministry to demolish and to erect quality prefab structures to replace the existing buildings, right, the buildings that were demolished. And that is this document here. 3rd of October 2016. Okay? So this granted permission to the ministry to demolish and to rebuild, which is what Minister Garcia said that they were waiting on. And as soon as they got this document, that they would do for us what was done for New Grant AC. However, this is 2018 and it still has not happened. After this in 2016, February 8th of February 2017, we again met with Minister Garcia, members of the ministry officials, Minister Garcia, ministry officials, the DSS at the time, members of the board, the Presbyterian board, principal of the school, one of our engineers, the PTA, right? And we had our own engineer, secretary of the PTA, staff, tutor staff representative, and myself. We met at Education Towers in Port of Spain with the minister, and we explained our plight to him. Well, he knew of the situation because he had met me already. And we discussed the school and how to move forward and what was happening and all about the shift system and so on. So the minister said when we met with the minister on February 8, 2017, he said he knew of the negatives of a shift system because he himself came out of a shift system because I think he worked at Aruka Junior Secondary as a teacher. Okay, so he knew what the shift system gave and, like I said, the negatives of it, all right? And we outlined to him the problems that we were having and so on and so on and whatever. And our structural engineer was there, and he had designed a school, right, based on our land, right, the topography of our land. He had designed a school that could fit at the land that we have at Edward Street, Princestown, where the old school was demolished. Okay, this is the design of the building that was shown to Minister Garcia. Alright, now the land at Edward Street is not a flat piece of land, it's a contoured piece of land. So you find that there are levels and there are drops and levels and so on. Alright, but so the engineer designed the school, and this is an engineer who works on schools and who knows the new template of schools and how schools are built now, the design that the ministry uses, because he works for them, right? So this was done very professionally, and it was shown to the minister by the engineer, who explained it to him, and he explained to him how they can do the steel structure and put the the prefab onto it and what have you, and that it would be quite durable. Actually, this would last a number of years, okay, 30 plus or what have you, and how cost effective it would be. All right. So the minister was quite impressed, and I must say that he was very accommodating to us. He was quite pleasant, and he listened to us, he listened to the engineer, and at the end of the discussion, he said to us, all that was left for him to do, of course, their people will have to look at it, their engineers and contractors and so on have to look at it, and all that was left for him to do was to get the funding for us. Okay? So we left in a sense feeling a little bit relieved, and we knew that things were on stream. Okay? He promised us that he would find that funding for the school. On the 21st of February, which is just about 2 weeks after that meeting, 21st of February 2017, on CNC3 News, 7 p.m. News, Minister Garcia was asked about the school, Press 1, and he said Princestown Presbyterian number 1 would be getting a school in this financial year, meaning of course 2017, because it was then he was speaking about. Those were his exact words. Alright, and it was seen on national TV because everybody was, just so happy about it, and because everybody was calling everybody, and they heard the news, they heard what the minister had said. Alright, and like I said, that was February 2017. This is May 2018, and we have no school as yet. Okay, but after February 2017, in August of 2017, the school was demolished, because all that time the buildings were still up. Right? The school was actually demolished in 2017 August. And when the school was demolished, parents actually thought that when the school was demolished, the old school was demolished at Edward Street, parents really felt a sense of hope, because they thought, okay, well, something would be done. They knew what they heard in February, and then to see the school demolished in August, so they thought, well, this was one step closer to a new school. So when the old buildings were demolished at Edward Street, parents actually thought that, something was going to happen. All right? And so they felt a sense of hope, and they were, continuing to make the sacrifice of sending their children to Press 2, all right, to that compound. But again, this is May of 2018, and nothing has happened. Okay? Now, earlier this year, in March of 2018, when the MP for the area asked Minister Garcia in Parliament about the school, and he said that we were no longer a priority because the shift system was working well, it contradicted everything that went before, and nobody could figure out what it has happened. Because, a whole year before you promised us a school, and then now you come in March 2018 to say that our school was no longer a priority. And so this did not sit well with parents, because now they began to feel alarmed that something is wrong, okay? When they thought, well, a new school was just on the horizon, all right? And I think this, caused a lot of ill feelings with parents, a lot of frustration, a lot of desperation, because now it's like they don't know what to do. Okay? And then when he was asked again, he said that because of a lack of funds, and somehow things not adding up. Parents are looking at what went before, how things got to this point and what have you, and we are feeling that anyhow we look at it, something is not adding up. Okay? Parents have reached a point where they feel that somehow, someone, something, somewhere, but something is being done to prevent the school from being built. And we can't understand. We can't understand why. Now, it's a Presbyterian school, and we have a lot of Presbyterian parents, sending their children to Press One. And you would find a lot of them involved in the churches and so on. And, we have been hearing from them that there is talk that they are saying that the church is saying that the land is very valuable and that, they could do something else with it. But it's a lot of talk, it's a lot of rumors or what have you, because we have not heard anything official. All right? And so we don't know if this is the reason why, the minister had changed his mind, if the members of the board changed his mind, holding back from building the school. We know there are a lot of other Presbyterian schools that have been down for some time, and what have you. But we are fighting for our school. We know what our children are going through. This is the only school in the country that is on a shift system. A shift system that has proven to be a failure in the past. Okay? And, it is this very government that removed that shift system. So to come back now and put it, for a primary school, for 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-old children to be coming to school for 12, 30, parents think it is inhumane. Something is wrong with that. Because when these children reach home in the evenings, they are very, very tired. Plus, it is a culture that only this school is experiencing. No other school has this. No other children go to school for 12 o'clock, 12:30 in the day. All children go to school for the morning period, 8:30, right? And this is a very sad situation for the children of this school. And not only for the children who are on shift, but even for the older children. Because you're in a situation where this is not your compound. You are confined to certain areas. You cannot behave like normal school children would. Okay? You have to experience this to understand what we are saying. Right? And to think that it's the children who are going through this experience. It's the children who are having this tough time. Right? And who are being stressed. Alright? And again, parents are saying they don't know what is the problem. They don't know who is holding back the school from being built. They don't understand why the school is being held back from not being built. And a lack of funds really is not, it's just an excuse, because we don't believe that is the reason. Because from 2015 to now, that has never really been said to us. Right? And if you listen to Minister Garcia's word, he didn't say that it doesn't have funds, Right? He said that the funds are low, I think, or something like that. And that is the only time he's ever said that. When, about this school. Where the school is concerned, this is the only time he's ever said that. Prior to that, he never said anything about they doesn't have money and they can't build the school. Right? He said once the board gives permission, they will do for us what was done for the new grant AC. He promised us that. Okay? And parents are really, really, really disillusioned. Really disappointed. And especially when they think that these are their children, and these children have rights. They have rights on education, and the government has a right to provide that education for their children. Okay? And when you go back on your word, you renege on your promise, what does it say? What does it say to parents and to children? And it is really a sad situation. And if it is that, it is the church that's holding back, which I don't believe. I myself am a Presbyterian, and I can't believe that the church would do something like that. Okay? The way the Presbyterian schools and the churches are set up, all over the country, wherever a Presbyterian church is, a school was built next to it. Right? In most cases, if not all. And that was so because the missionaries, the Canadian missionaries who started the Presbyterian church here in Trinidad and Tobago 150 years this year. Right? It was done that way because the Canadian missionaries saw the need to educate the children, and they saw the need to combine the education together with moral and spiritual development. And that is what was important, to bring up children in the right way, to bring up children to fear the Lord, to bring up children in the spiritual, right? And also to teach the children the academics and to equip them with lessons for life. And that is why the schools were placed next to the church. Okay? So to remove that, or to say that, next to the church is not a place for a school, or to say that the land is now somehow more valuable and the church can make a profit from it and what have you. I think that is a sad thing. If it is true, that is very sad, because wealth is not only in money. Wealth is an investment in your children's future, and this is what this is. Those lands were not bought by the church. Those lands were donated. The land where the school was at Edward Street, that land was donated for a school for children, to educate children. So in other words, that land is the inheritance of the Presbyterian children for generations to come, and the children of the community. That is their inheritance. Okay, and the education is an investment into their future and the future of this country. And when we remove that, and when we take that away, and when we use that to make profit, right, I think that is a grievous sin. Honestly, I think that in itself, that is really, there are no words to describe that. You are taken from the children what is rightfully theirs. Okay? The land is suitable for a school. The engineer has looked at it, and he's a very qualified engineer. Right, Minister Garcia met him, right, they know his credentials. The land is suitable for the school. The land is suitable for the new template of schools. The school can fit there, together with the play field, together with park, together with everything. Right, this is a well-designed school. This is the entire thing, a whole, detailed outline of how the school could be. Right, explained here in this document, which was given to Minister Garcia, and which they have to work with if they accept this design. Okay, this was just the PTA trying to be proactive and trying to be equipped with everything necessary for this procedure, for this new school, to happen in a timely fashion. All right. So I don't know. I wish somebody out there can answer us, that we can get help, and all the misconceptions out there, that it could be cleared up, right? Because like I say again, this is the children's inheritance, and it would be really wrong to take this away from them. All right? I don't see that the church need to keep this piece of land because it is theirs, and then to acquire another property. I don't think the church is about profit making, and I don't think the people in the church they would really go that way. Okay, because for years, we have always been seeking the future of the children and the church, because the children too are the future of the church, for the church to continue. This year, I know the Presbyterian Church celebrates 150 years, and I know there are great celebrations in store, upcoming, and what have you. And I think this is one of the things to celebrate, because everywhere you go in this country and you see a Presbyterian school, you look at the Presbyterian children, and I am speaking about them because this is what I know. I can't speak for the other denominational schools, but I'm speaking about the Presbyterian schools. These children, anywhere you see them, you can tell that they are from a Presbyterian school. The manner in which they behave, their whole discipline, their demeanor, everything about these children, okay? You can spot a Presbyterian child anywhere. Alright, and when I say a Presbyterian child, I mean a child who has been educated in a Presbyterian school. Okay? From primary right up to secondary. Right? They stand out. Somehow they stand out because, again, of the mixing of the academics together with the moral and spiritual development. Right? And it is going to be really wrong to take this away from these children. So we are pleading as a PTA, as parents, we are pleading with the authorities, please, build a school for these children. They deserve it and they need it. This school has been the top performing school in Southeastern District, and they earned that title. It wasn't given to them. They earned that title over the years. They have excelled in every field. Okay, from academics to extracurricular to sports to what have you. Being in the Cub Scouts is one of the best Cub Scout pack they've had. Right? And they've lost all of that. And like I'm saying, they have earned the right to be the top performing school, and I don't think that should be taken away from them. Okay, the staff and administration need kudos for all they have done and all they are still trying to do, because they are the ones, right? Those teachers could be happy with half-day school. They are not. They want to go back on whole-day school because they want the time to teach the children. They take pride in their work, and they understand what it is, to have a high standard of education, to keep that level up, and they want to do that. And I think they should be given every opportunity to do it. Okay? Moving the children who are on shift and putting them somewhere else for whole day school and leaving some of the children up at Princestown Presbyterian No. 2 school, that is not an answer. You can't have a school half here and half there, or part here and part there and all over the place. right? Because even though they're on one compound right now, that is how it is. Because some of them come from the morning, some of them come from the afternoon. The staff is divided, the students are divided, so you can never get anything done on a whole. Okay, and I think they deserve much better than that. And the parents of Princeton Presbyterian #1 school, they are pleading with all of you out there, the church, the board, the ministry, Minister Garcia himself, please assist us here and build the school for us in the quick time. You promised us in 3 months you could build a school. You even said to me, Minister Garcia, that Junior Sammy can do it. When we had that discussion, you said that to me in the presence of other parents. So please, I am begging you, keep this promise and build a school for our children. They more than deserve it.